Moving on to inductive arguments, we don't use the same language that we used with deductive arguments. We do not use the terms valid and invalid, but instead we use the terms strong and weak. We cannot call an inductive argument valid or invalid because it's not based on necessary reasoning. It's based on probability, so we can only say that that probability is either a strong probability or a weak probability. So again, following the same pattern, a strong inductive argument is an argument in which it is improbable that the conclusion is false if we have assumed the premises are true. So if we begin by assuming the premises are true, we might take a look at an example like this. We might say, use this example of a prediction. All dinosaur bones discovered to this day have been at least 50 million years old. Therefore, probably the next dinosaur bone to be found will be at least 50 million years old. So again, we would start by looking at whether this is an argument that's deductive or inductive. It is an inductive argument. Probable is the clue here. Again, you won't always have that clue, but they've made it easy for us in this particular example. If we assume that the premise is true, that all dinosaur bones, every dinosaur bone discovered to this day has been at least 50 million years old, then is there a high probability, if we assume that to be true, that the next dinosaur bone will be at least that old? Yes. So this would not only be an inductive argument, but it would also be strong, because the premise, when we assume it to be true, and it's easy to do because it actually is true, sometimes it's harder to do because the premise is not true, but that's okay. We assume it to be true. How strongly does it support the conclusion? Well, pretty strongly. So if we're thinking about it that way, determining whether an inductive argument is strong or weak depends on the strength of the connection between the premises and the conclusion. How well do the premises support the conclusion? If they support the conclusion in such a way that it's improbable that it's false, if we're assuming the premises are true, then it will be a strong inductive argument. If it is an argument in which it's not probable that the conclusion, or that it is probable that the conclusion is false, assuming the premises are true, then it will be a weak inductive argument. Now we use, instead of sound and unsound, we use the terms cogent and uncogent for inductive arguments. All weak inductive arguments are automatically uncogent, but strong inductive arguments can be divided into cogent strong inductive arguments or uncogent strong inductive arguments. And the line is the same. We use this green line again. Here, we are assuming that the premises are true in order to determine how strong or weak this inductive argument is. But if we're looking at determining whether it is cogent or uncogent as well as strong, then we look at the reality. Are the premises actually true in reality? Are all dinosaur bones found to this day, have they been at least 50 million years old? If the premises are true as we assumed they were, then the inductive strong argument will be cogent. If they are not true, then it will still be a strong inductive argument, but it will be uncogent.